where you used to fit right here, I'd hold you up and say to your mother, this kid's gonna be the best kid in the world. This kid's gonna be somebody better than anybody ever knew. And you grew up good and wonderful. It was great just watching you. Every day was like a privilege. Then the time come for you to be your own man and take on the world, and you did. But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame, like a big shadow. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you wanna be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
I'm Dan Adams, and I approve this message. Oh, what a beautiful fall morning. It rained and rained all night, and there's still rain clouds in the sky, which I'm not gonna lie. I'm not being sarcastic when I say this is beautiful weather. I love the rain. I don't like working in it. I told you last week that I'm a fair weather framer. And I stand by that, but I'm not framing right now. I'm just driving around imparting fitness wisdom. And today, well, I want to bulletproof your mindset. Also, stick around at the end. There's a little fun little fitness factoid that I'm going to give you. This one's not going to be a history one. This is going to be a fitness factoid, a fitness thing that I learned over the weekend. And it actually made me feel really sad when I learned it. And you'll figure out why when I tell you about it. But for now, we need to talk about bulletproofing your mindset. We need to talk about Rocky Balboa's whole speech that he gives to his bratty son. And here's the thing: when you're watching that, you should go back and watch the whole thing. I couldn't play the whole thing just because it's too long. I only played a snippet of it. The best part, the climax of it, where he's just finally giving his son the business. But you should go back and watch the whole speech that he gives his son. You should watch what happens before it. You know, his son getting mad at Rocky because Rocky's getting ready to fight again. Rocky's an old man. He's too old to be fighting, but he's gonna do it anyways, and it makes his son really angry because his son just wants to live a normal life. He's tired of having a celebrity dad who's always in the newspapers for something, and he feels like, you know, his son feels like he's, what is his name? I can't remember his son's name. Anyways, Rocky's son is angry because he feels like his dad is stealing his thunder or something. He says something like, you know, I only get these jobs because they know who my dad is. So basically he wants to be his own man. He doesn't want to feel like he's hanging on to the coattails of his dad. And that's why it makes him angry that, you know, Rocky, who's been retired for many years, is now going to take another fight. And then that's when Rocky gives him that little speech. And as you're listening to Rocky give that speech, I want you to picture yourself as the son. You are the son. I am the son. We're all the son. We are all him in that situation. I'll make sure to look up his name next time before I start talking about it. But we are all him. There's three things that he does. Three mistakes that he makes that Rocky calls him out on. Well, one in particular, this is the one I'm going to start with. Oh, when he tells him that there's always going to be people to blame. You can blame that person. You can blame this person. Always, you can blame someone or some circumstance for why you're not more successful. Now, just because you can complain about it, That doesn't mean that it's totally illegitimate. You know, some of your complaints might be real, but they're still complaints, and they're still not getting you anywhere. So that's the first thing. You will always find something to complain about, or you will always find someone to blame, and you have to fight against that. You got to take the Jocko Willink route and say to yourself, what did I do to contribute to this? Here's the thing. If you were born in America at this time in world history, you are the top 1% of the top 1% of all humans that have lived throughout history. You have more opportunity open to you. You have more. You watch Rocky getting angry at his son. It's like, what could his son have to complain about? Your dad is a successful, famous boxer. What do you have to complain about? What is going on here? You're angry that your dad's in the news again? Isn't that good for you? Doesn't that, okay, it opens up opportunities. Instead of complaining and acting like, I want to feel like I can do this on my own, why don't you just be grateful that there's opportunities? You don't have to complain about it. Similarly, if you were born in America at this time, you're basically Rocky's son. You have all these opportunities open before you. And yeah, life's not perfect. You still got issues, and we'll get into that later, but that's just to say, you don't really have anything to complain about. Neither do I. I still complain. I complain a lot. These little pep talks that I give, they're just as much for me as they are for all of you, my American fitnocrats. But if you want to be a proper American, do your best to fight against this urge to complain about everything. Because you really do have a beautiful golden opportunity open before you. Just because you were born in the place that you were born. Always there, with exceptions, there's always exceptions. I know there's people who, I'm not even talking about people, I'm not even referring to people who were, born into poverty. Most of us are pretty poor to start out with. By definition, most of us are not the top 1% within American society, but we are all in the top 1% compared to the world. Did you know there's like 1 billion people in China, and most of those people are dirt poor? There's like another 1 billion people in India, and most of them are dirt poor as well. Hey, if you're enjoying the video, and I understand that's a big if, but if you're enjoying it, please leave a like and a comment. If you're not enjoying the video, still leave a comment. The more sarcastic, the better. If you feel like you need a little more personalized coaching, DM me on Instagram at American_fitnocrat. If you don't have Instagram, send a raven. So yeah, the trick is to recognize when you're complaining or when you're blaming someone else. And fight it. Fight it. Recognize that you're doing it. Don't justify it. Fight it. Get on with life. Again, with few exceptions. I know there's people that are born into truly awful situations. Abuse of relatives, drug abuse, disabilities. I understand that there are definitely exceptions, but even with those people, it's kind of like they get the same advice. Like, the advice doesn't really change. I can see how it's harder to accept, but the advice is the same. Like, the sooner you can stop blaming others for your issues and take responsibility for your life, the sooner you're gonna start seeing real success. She was pretty. Let's see. Okay, here's another mindset thing that I want to smash into the ground with my words. Have you ever said this to yourself? It's not a good time. It's not a good time. Well, It's never going to be a good time. Spoiler alert. That's it. It'll never be a good time. It's never going to be a good time to start working out, or a good time to start eating healthy, or a good time to fix whatever issues that you're having in your life. And I'm sure you're having issues because we're all having issues. It will never be the right time. So don't wait. Stop waiting. Again, there's exceptions. If you're, coming off of chemotherapy because you had cancer, okay, that would actually be a really bad time to start going to the gym. But once you're past that, start going to the gym. If you're not that, then stop waiting for the right time. Make time, make it a priority. It doesn't just apply to the gym, it applies to anything that you want to do in your life. And you make time. Well, you make time by prioritizing it, and then also just starting real small. Start with something real small. Don't try to go to the gym 4 days a week. Just go once a week. Just one weightlifting session a week. If that's all you're doing, that's better than what you were doing before. Which was nothing. If you need to learn how to cook, which you absolutely do, I'm going to do a whole video on that later because, yeah, everybody needs to learn how to cook. That's how you fight the industrial beast that's making us all fat and unhealthy, overweight and undernourished. But you don't know how to cook. Well, start small. Just one meal a week. Just try cooking one decent home-cooked meal, minimally processed ingredients, as fresh as you can make it, once a week. Learn how to cook. That's what I'm doing right now, because I don't know how to cook. I'm a terrible cook. And just in the last few weeks, I've tried a few different recipes. Follow me on American Fitness on Instagram to see what I've been making. Some of them are turning out good. The eggs Benedict turned out good. My polenta squares turned out crappy. But I've learned many things. I've been learning a lot. And that's the point. You learn. I finally just said, okay, well, it's never going to be a good time to learn how to cook, and I need to do that now. So, just taking little steps in the right direction. And then here's the last point that I want to make. The last myth that you keep telling yourself, it's going to be easy, or you're going to get it right the first time, or it's not going to be all that messy or difficult to accomplish. No, it's going to be messy. It is going to be messy. The people who make it, when we see people who are very successful and do very well, it's kind of a cliche. I mean, everything I'm saying in this video is a cliche. I'm not breaking any new ground. But the people who we see who are very successful, we see the success, we don't see everything that led up to the success. We don't see all the work that went in. We don't see all the work, and we don't see all the times that they royally screwed up. We don't see all the things that they did wrong leading up to the success. And we don't see all the things that are still going wrong currently. It's usually an ongoing process. In fact, these guys who make it, they make it. They do really well. Oftentimes, they're not very happy, and they're more stressed than they were when they weren't all that successful. It's like there's more pressure. There's more pressure to perform when you're in that situation. So expect the mess. When America was first founded, the Revolutionary War, here's what you learn. Here's what you learn in school. Hopefully, I hope this is what you're learning in school, which is that we fought the British, we beat them, and we founded a government, with justice and liberty for all in mind. And basically the basic American myths that we're taught. They're not really myths. They're just wild oversimplifications, which if you're talking to grade schoolers, that's what you should be giving them. Give them a positive view of America and its founding. Now, as you get older and you start to read more, and hopefully you're reading more, you look more into American history, you find out, oh, geez. So, you know, we beat the British, but it was a hard-fought war, and you know, it's we sort of beat them, but it was also kind of mostly the French. Like, if we didn't have the French helping us, we wouldn't have beat them. You know, after we beat them, we didn't immediately found a new government. We tried the Articles of Confederation, and those turned out to be awful. They, you know, we had the Articles of Confederation for several years, and the government, it couldn't tax everybody. It didn't have a standing army. There's this thing called Shays Rebellion, where these group of people under the leadership of a man named Shay, they rose up and they were going to rebel against the government because they were getting taxed ridiculous amounts. The government, you know, America was in huge amounts of debt from the war that they just fought with the British. So George Washington, the president of these Confederate states, they weren't the United States yet, he had to put on his military uniform and ride with his army out to where Shays Rebellion was happening and get them to quit it. Tell them, look, we promise you, but first of all, put your guns down, and then we'll talk. Put your guns down, and they did. They put their guns down. It didn't turn into an actual civil war, but it could have. And then they had to figure out how to standardize the money, and then there was slavery, and then there was the Civil War that happened, you know, 60 years later, and then there was the several depressions. I mean, it's messy. It's messy. And it wasn't even until about World War II when World War II, like, you know, almost over 150 years after the founding, that America finally came out on top as a world superpower. It took that long. Up until then, we were kind of just another country. Kind of just another country with a, you know, kind of inspiring founding story of, you know, beating our mother country and claiming our independence. But up until then, up until World War II, we were kind of just another country. And then after World War II, suddenly it's like we explode. And it's like all the conditions finally came together. Our capitalist system, New York was the financial hub of the entire planet. You know, Europe had been ravaged by World War I and II, but America was mostly untouched. We lost a lot of guys for sure, but overall, you know, our economy and our infrastructure wasn't totally screwed from war like Europe's was. So yeah, all the conditions finally came together to make us the top dog on the planet. And we've been able to maintain that. Similarly, in your fitness journey or your financial journey or your journey of self-improvement, whatever it is that you're working on, it's going to be really, 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 really messy at first. James Clear in Atomic Habits, he calls it the valley of latent potential. You're building up to something. Expect the mess, though. So, just to recap, stop blaming other people, stop waiting for a good time to start, and expect the mess. And have fun with it. It's an adventure. Life's an adventure. Oh, this weekend I was at the gym with a buddy of mine. His name's also Daniel. Well, I go by Dan, he goes by Daniel, so that kind of simplifies things. We were doing a weightlifting session together, and we decided to test our dead hangs. Dead hangs when you just hold onto a bar and you just hang there for as long as you can. It's kind of a test of grip strength. Anyways, I lasted 1.5 minutes, which isn't terrible, but it's not particularly impressive. He made it to 3 minutes, so he lasted at least twice as long as I did, and he probably could have gone longer, but he said it was hurting too much. So my pride was already wounded, but then just to really pour salt in the wound, I decided to look up what is the longest dead hang? What is the world record? And it's always astonishing when you do some physical feat, you feel like you did pretty well, and then just for fun you look up what the world record is for that thing, and then you realize, oh I kind of suck. The world record for the dead hang. Remember, I held for about a minute 30. The average is about a minute. So I'm a little bit above average. You know, the average dead hang is about 45 seconds to a minute. That's the average. My friend Daniel, he's clearly way above average. 3 minutes, and he possibly could have gotten 4. If someone was holding a gun to his head, he probably could have gotten 4. That's very impressive. Oh. The current dead hang world record was set by a man named Kenta Adachi. Japanese. Kenta Adachi. In November of 2022. So that was 3 years ago. Maybe someone's beaten it since then. Currently, that's what Google told me. This is what I found on Google. Kenta Adachi from Japan. November 2022. Guess, before I say it, guess how long he hung for. Remember, I held for a minute 30. My friend held for 4 minutes. Or no, 3 minutes. He held for 3 minutes. Just guess how long you think this guy held for. If you said 10 minutes, 20, more. 30 minutes, keep going. Keep going. 3 days. Well, now you're just being silly. 80 minutes. 80 minutes and 41 seconds. He just held on for almost an hour and a half. An hour and a half just hanging. And I could barely do it for a minute 30. Now I know that I'm nothing. And then there's another record. So there's the full dead hang where you're holding on with all your fingers, you know, like a normal person. And then, for some reason, there's the 2-finger dead hang. I guess somebody decided that holding on with both hands wasn't good enough. Let's try it with just 2 fingers. 4 fingers total, because you're doing it with both hands. But a 2-finger hold. This record was set by Marcello Ferri. This is some Italian guy. Just last year, he just did this last year. And this, go and try this. Just go home and give this a try. Make sure you're not too high up, because you're probably only going to last a couple of seconds, if at all, if any at all. If you can hold on at all with just 2 fingers. And this will show you how much more difficult this is when you hear what this guy's record is for the 2-finger handhold. 2 minutes. 2 minutes, 2 fingers. It's very difficult. So, if you're curious, go to the gym and try out your own dead hang. If you can make it to a minute, that's pretty good. If you can make it to 2 minutes, that's really good. You're part of an elite group. If you can make it more than 2 minutes, again, my handhold is pretty strong if I do say so myself, and I barely made it to a minute 30. I'm shooting for that 2 minutes. Oh, anyways, that's all I've got for today. Go away. Read some books. Thank you for listening. Hey, tell me, have you ever heard someone say something like, oh, fitness isn't everything? Don't listen to that communist gobbledygook. Take pride in your body, take pride in your fitness, and let me help you along the way. Follow me at American_Fitnocrat on Instagram. And if you'd like some personalized coaching, DM me.